Danger. 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 Dangerous activity.
The Brecon and Radnor Asylum at Talgarth, founded in 1900. A relatively late addition countries established county asylums. The relatively poor agricultural counties of Wales, like Breconshire and Radnorshire, had little hope of affording the cost of a dedicated asylum on their own, and the Act specifically forbid the commissioners of neighbouring counties collaborating on a joint asylum. The lower population density of the mid-Wales counties meant that the need for a lunatic asylum was less acute than teeming cities like London and Liverpool. So for many years, the commissioners of Breconshire and Radnorshire were content to pay their lunatics to be housed over the border in the English counties of Gloucestershire and Shropshire. The situation remained unchanged for many years until 1842, when the London Times published a letter by Dr. Samuel Hitch, the medical superintendent of the Gloucester Lunatic Asylum, in which he expressed his concern the poor treatment of Welsh speakers who were forced to seek treatment in English asylums due to a lack of facilities in their home country. Public response to this negative publicity was overwhelming, and especially in the predominantly Welsh-speaking counties of North Wales, where the commissioners in 5 of the 6 counties of North Wales formed a committee to finance and build an asylum to serve their communities. Their efforts eventually resulted in the amendments in the County Asylums Act 1845, which permitted the establishment of joint asylums and the foundation of North Wales Hospital. The action in the counties of Mid Wales was less dramatic, but following the amendments to the County Asylum Act, the commissioners of Breconshire and Radnorshire began to plan a joint asylum along with the commissioners of the English counties of Hereford and Monmouthshire, which was still administratively part of England at the time. Their cooperation was a result in the establishment of a joint community lunatic asylum at Abergavenny. By the 1890s, the joint asylum was struggling to cope with the lunatic population of 4 counties, so following an amicable parting of the ways, it was renamed Monmouthshire Lunatic Asylum and became the sole responsibility of Monmouthshire. Although patients from the former partner counties were still accommodated, while Herefordshire pursued a project to establish an asylum of its own, and Breconshire and Radnorshire planned a second joint asylum shared between them. The site selected for the new joint asylum was a 261-acre estate called Transfield, located to the south of the town of Talgarth in Breconshire. It was purchased jointly by the participating counties, commissioned of lunacy shortly before the hospital was formally founded in 1900. The hospital was designed by the architectural partnership of John Giles, Albert Edward Gough and Trollope of London. A compact arrow plan designed is focused on a series of wards. Pavilions are placed on the outside of a central ring corridor which connects the separate wards together and leaves a large area in the centre of the hospital for the service building, including the kitchens, administration buildings and recreational hall. Each of the separate wards were designed to cater for different classes of patients, depending on the degree of severity and the perceived likelihood of successful treatment. 6 classes of wards were considered sufficient for a relatively small asylum: acute, chronic, epileptic, infirm, along with a ward where segregated by sex, so identical but physically separate facilities were required for male and female patients. The 6 male wards were constructed on the west side of the main building, and 6 female wards were built on the east side. The kitchens, recreation hall, and nurses' home were located in the centre of the complex, dividing the 2 sets of wards, conveniently within reach of both. The hospital's service building were located along the rear fade of the main building, which adjoined the access road. On the west side of the courtyard was surrounded by coal bunkers and boiler house. A second courtyard on the east side served as a drying out for the laundry buildings which surrounded it. Between the two of the hospital's central axes stood the administration block. Along with the main hospital building, a chapel and mortuary were built opposite the administration block. A separate isolation hospital catered for patients with infectious diseases such as tuberculosis was added on the eastern boundary of the site, completely separated from the rest of the complex. Just like the main building, its 2 wards were divided, one for male patients and another for the women. The final buildings on the site actually predate the hospital. Transfield House was a modest Georgian manor, was kept and renovated as the superintendent's house, and its lodge at the main gate was also kept for the porter's accommodation. Also included in the sale of Transfield was a nearby Wern Fawr and Reeder Bennis farms. In the early years of the 20th century, it was a common belief that employment in the great outdoors could greatly ease the troubled minds and aid in the treatment of lunatics. It was common for the great asylums to include farms to provide a place of work for trusted patients. The hospital plans included an extension to Wern Fawr, completed in 1909, adding villas to the farm buildings to house patients' workers and their attendants. The final building was a row of houses constructed along the hospital road as homes for the married attendants working within the hospital. It took 3 years to construct the asylum, which opened as the Brecon and Radnor Joint Asylum in 1903. Its 12 wards could house a total of 352 patients, initially originating from the Brecon era. Soon admissions were made from as far afield as Swansea and Shrewsbury. During the joint asylum early years, the treatment received occupants was little changed from the Victorian system, where the asylums were created in the hope that by removing lunatics from the community they could be restored to health in a therapeutic environment. Treatment involved little more than provision of benevolent, calm atmosphere, with regular meals, fresh air, gainful employment with the use of physical restraint, and the occasional administration of a dose of bromide to calm the most violent and aggressive lunatics. As the joint asylum was being built at Talgarth, changes were also emerging within the whole system of asylums. The growth of nervous system rather than the failings of a weak personality and a short to identity and short to identify the biological causes of mental illness for the first time. Psychiatric diseases were now being viewed as medical problems requiring medical treatment. Throughout Britain, the great asylums were beginning to be referred to as hospitals, as places of treatment rather than confinement, changes which were most obviously reflected to the outside world in the name of the building. a change which came to the joint asylum in 1921 when it became the Mid-Wales County's Mental Hospital. The early treatments introduced in the 1920s for mental illness, which have since fallen into disrepute, included malaria treatment, which was proven to halt the onset syphilitic paresis, although it was also unsuccessfully used to treat other mental conditions. Deep sleep therapy used barbiturates to induce a coma to treat schizophrenia and depression. A similar ischemic shock therapy was introduced in the 1930s and used insulin to induce a coma and convulsions in schizophrenic patients. The 1930s also saw the introduction of analytics psychoanalysis, although it would be many years before psychotherapy and medical treatments for mental illnesses would become integrated in the treatment of mental patients. Following the outbreak of World War II, the military scoured the country for suitable locations for the establishment of military hospitals for wounded servicemen. In April 1940, 315 beds at Mid-Wales counties were made available for military mental patients suffering from shell shock, a condition now recognized as post-traumatic stress disorder. As the number of servicemen required treatment declined during the latter years of the war, the military section within the Mid-Wales counties were handed over to the Joint War Organisation, a collaboration between the Red Cross and the Order of St. John's, as a hostel for Italian and German prisoners of war. Following the end of the war, the department had released the majority of its beds by the 31st of December 1946. The years following the Second World War brought one of the most significant changes in the hospital's history, when the National Health Service was established in 1947. Mid-Wales County was taken over by the NHS in 1948. The 1940s also saw the introduction of newer treatments for mental illness, which are also highly controversial today. Electroconvulsive therapy was introduced to treat depression, schizophrenia, and mania, using the short pulses of electric currents. Probably the most controversial of all medical treatments for mental illness, the prefrontal lobotomy. By December of 1955, the hospital population had peaked at 496 patients, 25% more patients than the hospital had been designed to house. An additional annex was built at the head of the hospital main drive, not far from the main building eastern edge, which would house wards 7 and 8 east along the new X-ray department. The 1950s were also to see a dramatic change in the treatment of the mentally ill, with the introduction of medications to treat mental illness. Lithium was discovered as an effective treatment of manic patients and would be mainstay at the hospital right up to its eventual closure. Largactic eased the symptoms of hallucinations, delusions, agitations, and foot disorders, and was hailed as a wonderful drug in the mental health community. Tofrani, the first effective antidepressant, soon developed into a new family of treatments for this most common mental illness. The availability of these and other drugs began to transform the practice of psychiatry within the mental hospitals. The reliance on the older physical mental treatments began to break as hypoglycemic shock therapy, deep sleep therapy, and other physical treatments were abandoned. Effectiveness of the new psychotropic drugs led to major changes in the mental health system, with an increasing growth in therapeutic revolution and lay the foundation for the move towards community care, which marked the final 30 years of the hospital's life. The government made its first public commitment to community care and phased out the country's many large mental hospitals in 1961, outlined by the then Health Secretary Enoch Powell in his Water Tower speech in March of the year. The plans proposed a 10-year program of transferring mental health service to outpatient care supported with psychiatric units attached to its district general hospitals. The Health Secretary went as far as calling for the outright closure of all country's water tower mental hospitals, seeing no future role of them. As it happened, this plan took a lot longer than 10 years to achieve, but from the 1960s, the hospital's population began to steadily decrease. The attitudes to mental illness within the country as a whole was changing during the 60s, and much of the stigma attached to mental illness was repelled. Just as in the 1920s, this changing attitude resulted in a new name for the hospital. The word mental was dropped and it became simply the Mid-Wales Hospital. An increase in outpatient treatment led to a dedicated modern clinic extension on the west side of the main building, which was added in 1965. The increase in the number of patients responding to treatment was resulting in more discharges from the hospital throughout the late 1960s and 70s. In an effort to prepare patients for life outside the hospital, a detached occupational therapy building was added to the west of the main buildings in 1974. Here, selected patients were employed in the manual task paralleled working conditions in the outside world. The occupational therapy building would later become the Power School of Midwifery, which was not linked to the rest of the hospital's administration. Over the same time, the beauty parlour and hairdressers were added in a small extension within the West Earing Court. The move towards care outside institutions has slowed during the 1970s, although the continued commitment to the community-based care initiatives have been made by successive governments. Few facilities have been developed to allow the wholesale discharge of patients from their old asylums. This position did not materialise until the election of the Conservative government in 1979, who placed a renewed emphasis on running down the county's network of dedicated mental hospitals towards eventual closure. The Care in the Community Green Paper of 1981 introduced a number of measures to transform the funds for mental health provision away from the NHS to local authorities and voluntary associations for the provision of community-based programmes and hotels backed with acute units and psychiatric wards at the general hospitals for those requiring inpatient treatment. The programme allowed the NHS to period of 7 to 13 years to develop and implement programmes to transfer patients out of mental hospitals identified for closure. The first changes to be seen at Midwards was the sale of the hospital outlying properties, Reed, Benyard and Warrenville farms, along with 5 of the homes alongside Hospital Road. Powys NHS Trust began to implement its care in the community programme in 1990 and began gradually transfer of service from Mid-Wales Hospital by the mid-1990s. The hospital inpatient population had been reduced to an average of 140, many geriatric cases. The hospital total capacity was reduced to a total of 179 beds. The hospital still supported a range of services including occupational therapy, outpatient daycare, psychology, physiatry, physiotherapy, electroconvulsive therapy, and chiropody. The district substance and alcohol misuse centre was also based within the hospital from 1994 onwards. The hospital was declared surplus to requirements by the Powys NHS Trust as the final stage of closure began. The hospital remaining services were transferred to the nearby Bronley Hospital. Mid Wales was vacated by the end 1997 and closed shortly afterwards. The entire site including a 43-acre of land within the 200,000 square feet of hospital buildings, surplus buildings plus 5 large family-sized houses, a chapel, tennis court, cricket pitch was advertised for sale in June of that year. It took over 2 years to find a buyer for the old hospital when the estate was sold by a sealed bid in October 1999 for $355,000. The sale of the hospital immediately resulted in a scandal, both because of the low sale price achieved and the alleged involvement of a Welsh office minister and his wife in the sale. The sale was called in for an inquiry by the Welsh Audit Office, who found no evidence of wrongdoing involved in the disposal of the hospital. On their conclusion regarding the low sale price concerned the lack of development potential of hospital buildings, a conclusion which has been proven by time. The Black Mountains Business Park was established after the sale of a business space for rental at the former hospital site. Only a few parts of the hospital were occupied, mainly around the administration building and workshops. The business park was put into administration in late 2008 and liquidated the following year. During the period of administration, the slate tiles were removed from the vast majority of the buildings, leaving the majority to suffer from water ingress and rapid deterioration as a result. The buildings were sold off by administrators, the superintendent's house, the drill isolation ward, workers' cottages, cricket pitch would be separated. The rest of the site was sold to a property developer, Mr. Collins, who has since suffered a number of planning setbacks in his admission to redevelop the site. As of 2017, the majority of buildings remain in extremely bad way with subsequent floor and roof collapses evident. And now in 2023, all the buildings are in such disrepair that all the buildings are falling down, which is so sad.
that tower behind you. You're right underneath it.
There's another one on that side.
Okay. Dogs? If you set a dog on me, the police will be called in the trouble.
Ring the landowner in Manchester and tell him the Irish man was talking to him on email.
You've got grazing rights for a field.
No, that doesn't live in Manchester.
That's where the company is that owned his property, mate. You think that nobody said? I ain't fucking coming here to get pricks like you. Fucking mouthing off, threatening. No, you, look at you sitting there at the back. Go talk to yourself.
You've got to have a nice
You fucking nothing. I'm going to carry on. You've got a problem. I'll meet you in the yard. I'll meet you in the fucking yard. Here's your dog. Here's your dog. Here's your dog.
And doing no harm. I was filming it from upstairs.
Did you record all of that?
Every second of it.
Hey, I found the basement.
I had his registration details and everything.
Hey, you can't just pull up on people and threaten them.
No.
You just can't do that. I do apologise for the first meeting I did, yeah, we just yeah. I'd love to see him going through the window. My problem.
He's still shouting.
Yeah, there's two girls over there. Go target them.
No, that's
No.
cowards, isn't it?
Look,
Cowards.
all the video rooms.
And
Look at
protecting
this
the place. It's getting knocked out. Look at protecting the fucking place. It's getting knocked down. Less
What
than a
about,
year.
you haven't protected much. Have you?
I know. He's got fucking sheep
hang on.
shit everywhere, blood everywhere from his sheep coming in here getting cut. Look after your animals.
300-year-old parquet flooring.
Mate, the parquet in there is amazing as well. Oh, nice.
That's the basement.
Hang on, look, you're on the wooden floor, guys.
Yeah,
I know.
so that you can get through.
Yeah, let's get in there.
I only came to the top of this.
There's a concrete floor in there as well.
This will be his house. Where that home. Wow, there's a lot of mud on these steps.
Wow, It'll be 45 degrees.
Did you find the basement?
Mate, a basement in a mental asylum.
Yeah, so we do a
With an angry father that's going to rip our throats out. Insert deliverance music here. Oh, look, I told you he lives down here.
It's spooky down here, guys. So,
There's an exit here.
yeah, guys.
He turns from, I'm going to rip this throat out, and I'm open the window, and his hand's shaking over the table, going, oh, I don't have respect, Hollies. Just told me you fucking dogs don't rip my throat out.
Wow, guys.
Yeah, because like so. I'm expecting like 20 last.
Not when you can see the roof there.
You made me jump in. Yeah, I'm definitely expecting about 20 farmers.
I'm expecting him to be the type to phone the cops.
I don't care about the police.
I'm not doing anything illegal.
Hey, are you I'm going to go upstairs and have a look up.
If the police ask me to leave, I'll leave, yeah.
Have you been upstairs?
No, I don't.
I don't think I'm going to go up it. Anything out there?
See all this rubble here? Yeah. You can see where they were joined together. And that tunnel carries on down.
Where's the tower? This way, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, I kept the camera.
There's the tower there.
You can watch him.
Where's Anthony? He's gone back to it.
Oi. Tower. Chimney.
That's a cool table. Looks like somebody made that. Oh.
Yeah. Oh, we're in the top. Oh my god, this looks a bit freaky.
This place is really weird, yeah.
This is probably where all the paranormal stuff has been done.
Wow.
It's a classroom.
Yeah, it's like there's a classroom. And then projector screen, blackboard.
Hey, hang on.
And then I'm trying to find it. This is just weird, because that goes out into another courtyard where we were just on the other side of the wall, but we didn't actually go into that yard.
I'm looking for the where the towers are.
I can hear him, I just can't see him. Because you came out this side, didn't you?
Yeah, that's where we came in. Came in here, didn't we?
I can hear him, I just can't see him.
Oh, I can see that bowing where you were walking on it.
Ah.
Maintenance panels, aren't they?
Yeah.
Well, flick that at your head.
They'll run all the way underneath the building.
Yeah. Bit tight though, isn't it?
Bit tight, yeah.
So that's why he's driving up and down all day, every day. I bet
Oh, this feels like a really old part. Look at the stone wall.
Hey, look at the floor. He's walking in sheep shit.
Yeah. That's what he's angry about. Like, the stone walls in here are lovely. Really nice. Wow, look at those curves.
Wow, I've nearly found a complete toilet. Nearly.
There's one upstairs covered in shit.
That little room. It's a separate little room.
Yeah, I know.
Please.
Oh yeah, and it's got
Tiny little room, more bricked off than the rest of the building.
and their new wood.
Look, even bricked off on this side.
Yeah.
What is in that little room?
That's new wood.
Oh, I got a picture. Quite
What is
nice.
in that little room?
That's what he's kept in this building.
Yeah. Wow, did you see that bow?
Did it? Yeah.
Mate, that bowed.
Oh wow.
I'm leaving that. If Bowman Derrid on it, I can happily just stick the camera up there.
Is this the church? No, no.
Church is across the road. There's the tunnel. Hey, there's the tunnel. Look. Oh my god, Gough was huge.
It looks like, look,
Fucking hell, Gough was massive.
massive.
Mate, I can't even see the corners.
I can't even see that side.
It's probably the size of this whole thing. Mate, he finds people.
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
Wow, some graffiti in
It's a
this.
proper tale of two halves, isn't it? Like, this side looks like a bit of maintenance and, you know, a little bit of love, and you could fix that. This side, what happened there? Yeah. It's such a thing to see.
Ah, I thought you were shouting again.
Oh, have you met the farmer? Oh, the farmer's driving around.
In the blue, like
The
a...
first thing he'll say to you is he's going to rep yourself. And you just go, oh, okay. He's a very angry man. I'll see you later. Have fun. God, there's wooden steps in it. You can feel how soft they were there.
Are you on videos on YouTube or pictures on Instagram or? Yeah, we normally do abandoned mines. So you've got abandoned forgotten whales, Irish miners explorers, and ore explorer.
It looks a bit better in that concrete roof there behind us.
These long,
Mate, the actual brick is splitting in half.
I walked into one room early on and the ivy was going up the wall like it was possessed.
It's mad to see the brick face blown off like that.
Hello.
It's a double-storey staircase.
It's a nice staircase as well.
It's just the cupboard that you want to be using. Just what, you just can't stand on nothing because everything's just nothing.
Oh, it's a shame all this.
Definitely double-storey.
Oh, we must be near the tower somewhere.
They're concrete steps.
No, the first one felt a bit dodgy, but I don't know if I can have enough battery to do anything.
He's in his element there.
Huh?
The man who's in his element. Hey, Anne. Look up. Hello.
It's like a maze.
Going.
Wow, look at that roof.
I know.
No, it's like a wave.
Mate, look at this one. I know, mate, it's mad.
I've never ever treaded so carefully in my life in any place until today.
It fucking feels high up here as well.
There's a line though, left.
I see. How many dollars climbing?
So are we.
Yeah. But, the hallway is concrete
Wow.
up here,
This is fucking deep.
but You don't know how good the concrete is, mate. It is deep, innit? You look down and it's like, oh fucking hell. I stood on the side of mines and it didn't feel like that.
It's not the fact that there's concrete there, the wall's falling down that the concrete's attached to.
I know, yeah.
Yeah, I know. You're right underneath me as well.
Right, I'm not going in there because that's the thing, but look how smashed up that toilet is.
Yeah. I'm not going to go any further.
That's a wooden floor in there.
Yeah. This one gives me a bit of the...
It's insane. It's like nice detailing though, isn't it? This.
Yeah.
Like this is a nice detail.
Like a picture, right, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think it is. Oh, that's the one on the bottom, or no, top.
Oh wow, yeah, I see what you mean. I'll see this thing on stage.
Did you... Oh, nothing much.
That's good. Wow.
It looks so ridiculous. It's literally like, it feels a little bit skeptic here, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, even from my liking.
It's just, yeah, like, yeah, if
And
you
that-
look down from the top.